Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to continue part 2 for the shed relocation. If you remember last video, we moved part of the shed, well, not part of the shed, the whole shed, to this other side of the patio because the city came and they did an inspection and they saw that our shed was not up to code. So we needed to move it because it was too close to the structure of the main house. And so we started moving everything, disassembling the whole thing. And we didn't do it how some people I've seen do it with rolling everything to another location, because first this was attached to a foundation, kind of like a deck type of foundation. And number two, our area where we would have had to move it is very difficult to move because we have flagstone. So rolling it over to the new space was not an option. So as you can see here, we're putting everything together, and my dad, my mom, everybody's helping. We started attaching all the sides, and now we're starting to put in the front. As you saw earlier in the video, we had to take out all of the old nails and the old glue and caulking that the structure had and just scrape everything so that we could start anew and add new glue, new caulking, new nails, new everything. Making sure that everything was nice and clean was going to ensure that all the pieces were going to match together again and we wouldn't have to fight it. The whole process has taken us about a month to do this. We haven't worked like full 8-hour days, but we have worked every day after work during the afternoons when the sun is also a little bit cooler, because these are the dog days of summer, guys. After installing all of the side panels, we started putting on the roof again. Some of the pieces we didn't take all the way apart and we left them so that we could easily put them back on. But it's funny how you really forget how you took apart stuff, and then once you want to put it back again, you're like, how do I do that? Thankfully, things were going relatively fast and we finished putting the rest of the beams so that we could have the support for the panels that are the base for the roof. Now we're gonna be putting on the boards. There's two boards, one full board 4x8 of OSB, and they cut it up in half lengthwise. That way it's not as heavy, and then you can put it on top. So I finished screwing all of the board that is going on top for the roof, and I made sure with my dad that both sides, this one and then this one, were both equally spaced in between the shed. Alright, so we are basically almost done. We put the roof on top and the rafters, everything how it was done. However, there is the shingle problem because now the shingles are over there, and if we put them back on, these were done in layers. That's how the roofs are done, with shingles. And the rooftop killed my grass. Can you believe it? I was really bummed out. So sad, because I've been trying to get this patch of grass to grow for so long, and now in just one single day, well, actually a couple of days, we left the roof on top of the grass and it was done. The shingles were done in layers, So for us to put this just in one piece is not gonna be good because it's not gonna do the job that it should do. So now we're thinking maybe we do something else for the roof. Rest of the project right now from now on is we're gonna start doing all the details, getting all those little pieces there, and then also in the back, I don't know if you can tell, there's like a light here. Well, that's because this was behind the, it was close to the door, right next to the, not the door, right next to the wall. And so he didn't put anything on top of there. He didn't do the rafter thing. So now we have to go around here and I'll show you. There are some holes. So we're gonna have to patch up there and put some more material to patch up the holes essentially that are there in between the rafters. And I'm gonna have to cut here because he didn't cut that part. And I'm gonna have to cut here the trim and then put trim all around. So details, details, details. Now for the gaps that we have there, I found out that we can put some 2x3s and it fills this space perfectly. So I just need to know what the distance is from here to here in each of the spaces. It's only 3 spaces and we're all set. I just need to cut them and I'm gonna tie them from here underneath with a screw. We should be done and then keep going. The doors are not closing, so now I think we're gonna have to move over the doors just a tad bit, maybe like 1/8 of an inch out from the hinges. So moving it over on the hinges and then hopefully it'll close nicely, but that's gonna be tomorrow, not today guys, not today. Now for the doors that aren't closing, as you can see, there's a little bit of a overlap right here, but it's just minimum. It's almost there. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna remove the doors and then we're gonna put plugs in the holes that are here. That way, when you try to put the screws back on, they're not gonna try to run into the previous hole, because that's what happens when you try to open or screw a little bit too close to your previous hole. So to prevent that, that's what we're gonna do. Thankfully we have enough gap here in between this door and the frame and on the other side as well, so that we can move over the doors a tad bit so that they can close nicely. the bottom we're gonna put these shims. That way it lifts the door and it can freely go in and out, open and close. After plugging the holes on the frame, we were able to install the doors back up again with the shims, and we just had to go a little bit back and forth, make some minor adjustments, and we were finally done with that installation. I cut the excess material from the back of the shed that was hanging there, and surprisingly that width was enough for me to make the trim for that back part of the shed, and that's what I did. I cut it in half and then used those cut-off pieces for both sides on the back. I'm about to cut this piece of wood so that I can do the trim for the shed. And one cool trick that I learned, I've seen it a long time ago, but then my sister sent it back on one of those reels, and it is, if you have an uneven number for your piece that you want to cut, and you need to find the center. This one's 5.5, and you don't want to do the math. All you have to do is get your measuring tape and then tilt it until you get to the next even number. This one is 6. Then just divide it in half. That would be a 3. So your half of the material would be right here. Isn't that neat? Hope you like it. My trim pieces are cut. I have 6 total. I'm gonna put them here in the back. 1, 2 in the corner over here, on the other corner, and then another one in the back as well. And it's just time to paint. I painted before I put it on because otherwise it's gonna be more work and it's gonna be more effort. I want to do less always but make it right. So this one's gonna be painted also, both sides, so it gives me an advantage when I have them before installing them. So I have a little bit of paint here. It's always a good idea and a good tip for you guys to have your paint from the color of your house, maybe just even a quart. I have a gallon here, but if you have even a quart is good, because then you can do little touch-ups here and there that you need. And the same for painting your house inside, for just the trim and all that stuff. It's a good idea to keep at least a quarter of the paint that you have for your house. Let's just go ahead and paint, and then I'll install the trim. And then I'm just putting stuff inside the shed right now, just getting it all in there so that I can have less to do at the end. So guys, a little update on what we're gonna be doing with the roof. I was telling you that I was gonna do a metal roof on top of there, or maybe like the corrugated roof. Actually, that's what I had told you. And then I thought metal roof, because we have an awning that we took off from the other side of the house, replaced it, and I thought, okay, we can use it for here because it's the same size, 4x8. But well, actually this is a 4x6. So enough material to cover the whole area. But as I was talking to my dad, because we were gonna go get some stuff to the home department store, my dad's like, we can reuse the shingles, why not? And I was like, well, because they're already used. They're over here, they're one full piece, and we can't take them apart, and they need to be layered, whatnot. And he's like, no, we can use them. We can take them apart, and we can reuse them, re-glue them, and reuse the material. And I was like, well, I don't know if some of this stuff here is punctured, so I don't think we can reuse those. But I do have extra material from when we installed this, so we have extra material for that. And then he just went like this, and he said, we can take it apart. And I'm like, no, we can't. It's glued on, basically with tar. And he's like, no, look. So he started taking things off, and exactly we can relayer everything and redo it. So I did a little research, and it says it's completely doable. It's a little controversial, but it's doable. But we can reuse stuff, and we've done things like this where that's what my whole channel is about: reusing, repurposing, recycling. And so that's what I want to do. It might be a little controversial, and you might think, no, you can't do it because it's already taken off, but I think it's still in good shape, and we can redo it. I can find a sealant that is probably like a tar sealant, and we can patch up all those holes and make it where it's good. And then the pieces here that are completely punctured and torn, I have extra material, so I can replace those. So let's go ahead and get going. Woo! Also, the material underneath, I have extra material from the time that when we installed initially this whole thing. This is underlayment, and I have extra material that I can use, and we can probably reuse this material because it's not completely done. So I don't know about this part, but these for sure we can use. I tried taking apart the shingles, but the days were very hot, so the sticky part that bonds was really stuck on. So my mom came one afternoon when it was way cooler, and she was able to rip apart by strips the shingles. But we'll come back to the roof later because this was something that I just couldn't wrap my head around, and so I left it for the very end. So let's go over to do the fences because that I am a little bit more familiar with. Okay guys, so I am going to start setting the post. The mosquitoes, guys. I bought a zapper. That didn't work, so don't get those. There's mosquitoes. There must be another way. I'll find out for you guys. But I'm setting the post over here, and I'm gonna be using my trusty garden drill. Just a little one, and this one's gonna help me with the post. So it's just basically a feet apart from where it is right now, and we had already called that 811 number a couple years back because we wanted to do some concrete here and they needed to dig. So in one of the comments I saw to be careful with digging, and that is totally true because you need to be aware first if there's anything that you need to check for, like electrical, gas, water. You don't want to mess with those things because it's going to be an emergency. You don't want to have that in your hands. So we had already checked, and I know where things were marked, and this was not one of the spots. And then there's the other spot where we had the other fence post that we need to put. It's on this side. That's going to be good as well. So I'm just going to be drilling just to make it easier, and we'll put a little bit of concrete and set it there, set the fence. And I'm still debating on doing the roof because we're reusing the shingles. I just don't know how that all will work out. So whenever there's something that I don't know how to do or that I'm scared to do, I leave that for the end. until I process it, and then I can get the courage and start doing it. Once I start doing it, then it's all better because I'm able to problem solve as I go. But right now, I'm gonna wait. I kind of did a little bit of organizing here, so that's gonna be a little bit of a reveal later on. I'll show you what I did, but other than that, let's get to work right now. Okay, so I dug up the hole. It's not quite the 2 feet, it's like a foot, maybe a foot. And I am going to be putting some of these pebbles so that it can drain. Not too much. Compact it, and then I already put a level up where I know where this needs to be lifted up to. This is very dusty, so if you can wear a mask, it's much better. I'm asking for a mask because this is very dusty. I don't want this in my lungs. Not that it won't get in my lungs, but at least the least of it. So for this post that's behind the shed, all I did was dig almost a foot and a half, maybe a little bit more, so that I could get it level to this. It wasn't completely level, but that's fine because this is just gonna be what I want it for, is to be kind of like a support for the shed, for an anchor to just, I don't know, we don't have high winds or anything like that here in California, but yeah, never know. And so it just for it to be holding on to something. Then I just kind of put my spacer here to know that it's gonna be exactly where I want it to be. Almost halfway of the post is sticking out, and then I'll just put the rest of the wood pieces. So I'm just gonna let it dry 24 hours, 48 hours, and then once I can get to this part, I'll do this. So we're moving a little bit further into the project. This is the other post that I have right here. Ta-da! Fence 1 is up. I just nailed it. I'm not gonna do any screws on this because this is such a little tiny space. And then I had to cut each one individually because they were not even. And then at the very end, I used some scrap wood that was thinner, but it was actually perfect because I was able to just use that top part, the longer one, to go over here, and then the shorter one goes down below, and it covered the whole thing. Now we're gonna put everything on this side, and with this one we're gonna do a gate that goes and closes off here, but that's gonna be later. And we're gonna have to do the fence over here. Mom is cleaning. We're gonna move that right now. So we're doing a little tree trimming right now because these have gone way out of hand. So we're just doing like a all around cleanup. We already cleaned up over there. I am gonna leave these tree still like this because I know that for Christmas I want some nice long branches for decorations. So those are gonna be good for that time. So I'm gonna let them grow a little bit, be free. But the other ones were giving us this terrible flower with lots of pollen, and it's just a lot. And this one too is gonna need a trim. It has lots of spiders, so I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna spray with a special bug spray so that I don't get any more spiders, and I'm gonna do that all around the patio. Alright guys, so this is a mid-project update. As you can tell, I already did the trim in all the corners. I started to close off this little piece of fence that was left over. So that one is done, so I'm really excited about that. I am going to be finishing off here the trim at the bottom, which I had one of my viewers say to go and do a flashing, and I was talking to my mom and she was like, yeah, you should do that. And I'm like, really? And we bought this this roll of flashing, so I'm gonna do it. So thank you so much for giving me that advice. I'm gonna do that, put the flashing down below. As you can tell as well, the roof is not finished. I need to finish that. It's slow progress because it's hot and I haven't been able to do much with this heat because summer is on, guys. And then the big update, oh, let me turn off the water. The big update was that we cleaned up this whole area, which was full of the fence material and tables and so many things. We move everything so that when the inspection comes, everything is away from here, from the walls. So here, all these plants will move to the area where the shed used to be, which is right here, and this is where I have all the material now, and as you can tell, the roof as well. And I need to fix this too. That used to be where the shed was. And in this area, I'm gonna do I don't know if it's gonna be wood or composite deck, a little area here, and I'm gonna put my planters here, everything that doesn't need as much sun, only morning sun, which is perfect because this is the area where it really gets nice morning sun. And that's about that right now, guys. Okay guys, I'm gonna start putting the fence. In the beginning, I thought it was really a daunting project to do this little space, but I think sometimes we're just very overwhelmed. So one thing that I like to do is just take a break from the project and then come back with a fresh mind and renewed strength, and that way you can finish off, because now I feel like this is like so easy, and why did I wait so long? I'm gonna be putting the fence posts, not posts, the horizontal. And what I did here, as you can see, is I put the extra support because it was way behind, and otherwise it would have been something that was not straight. So now it's gonna be nice and straight. I'm gonna help myself with the nail gun first. Put everything aligned, leveled. Use the nail gun and then afterwards I'll come in with some screws. So super easy. Having two people would probably be the best, but it's fine. Once you put in the first nail, you're good. See? Now we'll do the rest. I'm coming from behind the fence and I'm gonna mark it there to know where to cut along so that I can do the final cut. Finally, guys, we are really almost there. Fence is done. Isn't that nice? And then the fence on this side as well. And shed is here. We just need to do the flashing at the bottom and then the roof. Guys, the fence and the shed have been installed finally, and although it looks like it's finished, we still have so much to do. We still have to finish the roof, install the flashing, and just move everything out of the way that you see there, because that is not the final look or how we want to do it. We also have some tables and some other stuff that we have in the way. So I want to make it really nice, really inviting. And so for next video, we're going to finish the roof as I told you, and the flashing, and do some styling. So hope you guys were able to find a lot of information here that can help you. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't miss it because there is so much more to come. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, all the things, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. God bless you. Bye-bye.